Let's look at this story from dog culture. In this story, I'll demonstrate two facts about dog culture. One, dog culture is reactive, not proactive. And being a reactive culture, it robs us of such a quality of life because being proactive is so much better than being reactive. And another one, dog culture is child neglect. So let's go and have a look. Here is a story about a man that supposedly body slammed a dog. In my opinion, he just picked the dog up, flopped it over, and gave it a little reprimand for starting a fight. But let's have a look at it for ourselves.
Employee at a doggy daycare in Oceanside. In the video, you can see the employee body slam.
So you got to pay attention. But this dog right here, this dog zips away from whatever was going on over there. It appears that dog got either bitten or just pushed around by that other dog. The man notices it and he pretty calmly and purposely gets up.
Wow. CBS 8's Regina Yorita has reaction from the person who captured the video.
Okay, so that's what he did. He got a hold of the dog, flopped the dog over, and you can tell the guy really wasn't using a good stance or anything. He wasn't just doing a full on body slam. He kind of had floppy arm movements. So for them to call that a body slam, that's just the double speak, the ambiguous language of dog culture. You know, they call dogs a best friend, but yet dogs are responsible for facial reconstructive surgeries for kids. So that's just double speak. Calling it a body slam, it was a reprimand, and it almost looks like this dog is kind of looking at that guy like, oh, you saved me. Another thing I noticed in this video that they don't tell you is the guy also starts to follow that dog. So maybe he was going to go separate the dog, make sure the dog was okay. I don't know. They're not going to show us, and they also are not going to show us what happened before this. And it's interesting that the video is fuzzed out. It's almost like they don't want us to see what actually happened at the very beginning. And of course, all throughout this video, we will find the doublespeak, ambiguous language of dog culture. This was a shocking video. It was so troubling to watch. Another example. We couldn't believe it. We just couldn't. You couldn't believe it? Come on. They keep replaying the video and saying again, body slam, body slam. It's like they're trying to make sure that you understand that you need to think the way they're telling you to think. It's the narcissist thing in dog culture. You need to think the way we think. You need to look at it from our perspective. Whoa, and you better not look at it any other way. And it's so weird. This is like one of those early 80s videos games, the way they got it pixelated. There's no way this is the actual raw footage. They're trying to hide something from us. Later in the video, there is some truth told. They say, well, the dog was flipped on its side to prevent it from fighting. So that makes sense. Dogs understand violence. Dogs understand aggression. You know, we're even told not to run away from a dog. We're told to stand our ground. And so this guy was just doing probably the best thing to do is to give that dog a little reprimand. The dog was fine. The dog ran off. So they do kind of try to stick up for the guy and say that he was trying to stop a fight. But he got fired, and everybody's calling for him to, be thrown into the throat of a volcano and have his existence wiped from Earth. And, look at what they say. This business is built on passion and care. Like, what does that have to do with anything? Why do you need to be passionate towards a dog? This is the lack of proactiveness that I'm talking about. This is just a bunch of reactive, oh my God, you hurt the dog, you're a bad person. This is all a bunch of narcissist, ambiguous language. Look at it from our perspective and no one else's perspective. What about the perspective of the worker? A quick look in the comments shows us where we're at in our society. They're saying this guy was a cruel to dogs, a cruel slam to the floor. They call him a piece of shit. So everybody's lining up to hurt this guy. Someone needs to hurt that guy, this person says. There isn't a human being, dead or alive, that will love you more than a dog. Wow. So look at this. This guy says that dude is a goner, and even puts a little death death symbol. So this is crazy. This is just reactive, and they should be proactive. So here's what I'm talking about: about being proactive. Maybe that worker wanted to prevent something like this. A doggy daycare worker is killed. At these doggy daycares, many bad things happen because the dogs start to fight and somebody breaks up the fight. And oftentimes, these daycares will get sued when a fight happens and the workers don't break up the fight because they don't want to get bitten. Here's a story about a golden retriever that was attacked at a daycare: 20 puncture wounds and deep tissue damage. So, this is from another dog. So, perhaps that man was thinking, hey, I don't want my place of business where I work to get sued into the ground. I don't want this dog to attack this other dog and end up having something happen like this. That man that was working there, he was being proactive. But dog culture people cannot understand that because they are so wrapped up in just being reactive in a way to spoil the dog. They're talking about they're literally talking about that man should be killed in the comments. All because of what he did. They're acting like that man purposely came into work and decided he was going to hurt that dog. That man was taking a minimal approach, flipping the dog over to prevent a fight. And perhaps he just didn't want blood to be shed that day. But it's not going to be appreciated by dog culture because of their adoption of reactiveness and nothing else. Okay, now that I've given you a little bit of explanation about how dog culture is reactive and how that doesn't help us. For example, that man that got fired from the job, he probably has a bill to pay. He might have had his own dog that needs food. He has bills to pay. He shops at a grocery store. A grocery store has workers. He's going to be a much better off person to society if he has a job. Ripping him from his job is just going to make society worse. And that's where the human sacrifice comes in. These people are willing to sacrifice their own quality of life just to be like, look at me, I'm a good person. I saw somebody tip a dog over, and so now I'm going to line up to hurt them. So that's just so unhealthy, and that's what dog culture is. It's just unhealthy. So now for the child neglect part. People will freak out over a dog getting tipped over at a doggy daycare, but look what they let dogs do to their kids. Boom. Smash. Boom again. Ouch. Oh my gosh. Right on the concrete. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This dog is fanning feces particles into this kid's face. You can even see the reflection of another guy. You might have to watch it on your screen. Watching this. They'll let this happen to a kid. They'll let a dog do this to a kid and think it's funny and film it. This kid obviously is not having a good time, yet the parents or big brother are sitting there doing it. Did you see that? Right on the concrete. Where's this dogs will love you more than any human, like the commenter in that video said? Nope. This dog doesn't give one crap about the human. The dog saw a squirrel or a pile of turds it wanted to eat and decided to bust that kid's face into the concrete. How many chiropractors have to help these kids? How many long-term neck and spine problems do these kids get from this? Ouch. That's got to hurt the neck. Mm-hmm. Right on the concrete again. Ow. Clothesline in the neck. Hardwood floor. Hardwood floor right to the face. Another hardwood floor to the face. Ow. Concrete to the face. I'll just stop it right there. You guys can watch the rest by yourself. And there's plenty of other examples of these, even where the adults let their dogs hump on the kid. Like they'll let giant Great Danes jump on little kids this size, knock them to the ground, and start trying to hump them. So where's the outrage for all these kids having their faces rammed into concrete by these dogs that supposedly love us and are supposedly our best friend? There is no outrage. There is no call for the dogs to be reprimanded. No. So this is where the child neglect comes in. Anytime you see all of these people lining up to, oh, I gotta save that dog, that man body slammed him, oh, crying and whining and acting like that man needs to be fired and hurt and all this stuff, you see the same type of behavior being perpetrated on kids and they turn a blind eye. Oh, your kid got his face smashed into the concrete by a dog. Well, maybe the dog was energetic. Maybe the dog was excited. They got 100 reasons why the dog might have did what they did. But when a human does something, no, they won't sit back and say, well, maybe that man saw that dog bite some other dogs and did what he thought was best. Let's give him a second chance. Let's do what we can to help him out. Let's get that dangerous dog, get a muzzle on him or something. They won't do that when it comes to a human, but they'll line up to make an excuse for these dogs. So there it is. There's the child neglect part. And thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know in the comments what do you think? Is dog culture child neglect? Is dog culture a reactive culture? And is this reactive culture mentally healthy at all? See you later.